Hi, Mike Schwarzer here. Let me throw something a bit unexpected your way. What are the biggest influence on how you show up as a leader, how you make decisions, how you handle pressure, relate to people? Isn't your skill set, your strategy, or even your years of experience, but the question you've been unconsciously living from? Here's the thing. Most of us have no idea we're doing it. We've been conditioned into a question like, how do I live life? Or in the leadership version, how do I lead well? How do I get this right? Or how do I avoid messing this up? It sounds innocent and even helpful. But when that question is quietly steering the ship, it turns life and leadership into a constant problem to solve, a project to manage or a performance to maintain. And honestly, that's exhausting. Now, here's a bit of a wild thought. What if instead we start living from a different question? Something like, how does life actually work? What's the deeper logic behind how experience shows up? And what if I already have what I need and I just forgot? Now, that question doesn't stress you out. It kind of perks your ears up. It gets you curious. And it's like opening a window and realizing that there's fresh air outside. So here's what happens when you shift from how do I live life right to how does life work? You're no longer trying to win some invisible game. And you start noticing how the game is actually set up. And suddenly you see that your feelings aren't warnings, rather they're indicators of thought in the moment. You realize that clarity and direction don't come from more overthinking, but from less thinking. And you stop trying to fix yourself or others, and instead you listen, you notice, and you allow insight to emerge. So that's not magic. It's just a different orientation, a quieter one. But wow, does it shift the whole landscape? When you begin to see how life actually works from the inside out, not the outside in, it changes the game. You become more resilient, not because you toughen up, but because you stop taking every thought so seriously. You lead more wisely, not because you memorized a framework, but because you tuned into something deeper. And you connect with people not to fix them, but to meet them. You don't need to force presence. You are present. And you don't need to chase uncertainty because you trust the unfolding. And the best part, start to relax. Not the kind of feet up, done for the day relax, but the kind where your shoulders drop, your mind clears, and life doesn't feel so jammed up. So here's the invitation. Don't try to change your life. Just start to notice what question you're living from. Because the shift from how do I live life to how does life work isn't just a better question. It's an entire different reality. And when that shift happens, even subtly, it stops being about managing the madness and starts being about navigating from wisdom. And that's where your leadership truly comes alive. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, lead lightly, and remember, sometimes the most profound shifts start with a single quiet question.